Hey, what's up, guys? This is Grant,
This is Sash
and this is Indie
in.
B. Yeah.
It's in the game. Today we talk to Daphne, an upcoming artist out of Boulder, Colorado. Um, really cool. Got some cool sounds, a lot of new music out. Um, some more hatred of pretzels. You're gonna have to dive in deep, but
Roll that motherfucking tape, and don't you dare give me any pretzels. All right, welcome into Indiebnb. Today we have a very special guest out of Boulder, Colorado, Miss Daphne, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last name, but Daphne, we'll just go with that. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Can you give us the pronunciation on the last name?
Marguerite.
Margalit. All right. What is that native to?
My parents are from Israel, so yeah, right over
All
there.
right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, we love your music, Daphne. That's why we Daphne. That's why we got in. I'm gonna screw it up a few times, I'm sure, but that's what we got attracted. We got put onto you guys by our buddies up at High Crime, and they said they toured with you. They're like, you got to check her out. She's awesome. So I'm glad that we got in touch and we're able to make this happen.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So, I'm a big proponent of music videos. And, one of my favorite things in doing the research for this is, the joy that is your YouTube page and all of the music videos you have made. So I want to start there and kind of start from the back up until Sweeter, the latest release. But like, the first video you put out on there is you with a big band, a couple of 40-year-old guys, and you're up there commanding the absolute shit out of the stage. So tell me about that, and just kind of what that performance was all about.
Yeah, so that was in high school. I was in this like choir program where for one like the end event of the year, we had to like each like sing a song and like a jazz song. So I decided to do one of my own, and it was really cool because it was like my first time like singing with a band. And yeah, it was pretty much for an assignment, but like it was a lot of fun. So
I mean, it was unbelievable. If anybody hadn't seen it, you need to go definitely check it out. I think it's one of the it hopefully it's a precursor to what's to come for you. I mean, I think you just command the stage so well in that young of an age, and now I bet it's just even better. But take me through kind of your video process. There's a very DIY feel to a lot of them. I think that you leaning right in and saying, "Hey, look, my sister's fingers in one of these shots," and doing the behind the scenes action is awesome. So tell me a little bit about what your creative process is when you're coming up with music videos.
yeah, I mean a lot of it is I just like having visuals to go along with like a song or like a project. So it's pretty much just like let's see like what do I have? Like what resources do I have? What can I make? Will it look garbage? Maybe. But like as long as I'm putting something out there that's not just like completely horrible, and if it is bad, if it's like at least like a little entertaining, then like I'm like gonna do it. So
I like that devil may care attitude. I love it. And honestly, like it works so well because I mean the music's just a joy, and then to get the image with it, it's something that I a lot of the big theme for me throughout this podcast is I always look. I'm kind of the music video, live music, kind of that's my corner, and I love that artists that are coming out and saying, what, hey, here's another aspect to this song that you didn't even think about. Like, hey, here's me on the beach swimming backwards or even what I loved was the editing in the God, it's the video where you're in Italy, where you have the it's like the Euro it looked like a European vacation. Tell me about that one.
yeah, that was like my song "Do You Feel How I Feel." I was pretty much had just traveled with my best friends from high school, and it was my first time like kind of traveling without my parents because it was like after my freshman year of college. And so yeah, I just like wanted to get a lot of the travel footage and everything, and just like I made the video more for myself of just like a oh like this was a super fun memory, but it was like also like I needed the song that just came out. I was like might be a good way to promote it too.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I bet your friends were like freaking thrilled. They're in a music video. That's legit, you know.
I don't actually remember if I asked for their permission. I think I just posted it, but
Yeah, I'm sure whenever it's got a million views, I'll be like, "Hey, can you like, can you give me a cut of that? What's going on?" But kind of getting through and kind of getting to probably more the formative time, but like easy. I mean, you that one looks like you set your laptop up and we're just kind of. It looked like you put on some sweet music that you're dancing to, and then just kind of let it go. Tell me about that. That and
yeah, I mean that was like first week of quarantine, I think. So I had been probably in that same outfit for that entire week. And I was yeah, I like my song was coming out and I was like, well, I made the song in my room, so might as well like make the video here too. And then yeah, I think I had seen it was what's his name? Is it Rich Brian? He's like a some rapper and he did his like one of those videos where it's just like jump cuts of him in a room. And I was like, that looks easy enough to recreate, like just something that style. So
gotcha. How do you I guess the editing and all that is that you doing that as well?
yeah, it's just like my brother got the Adobe like Premiere pack and I managed to get the login from him. So I've been using that.
Nice, nice. Well, that's awesome. And so you're kind of getting into a little bit more of the your official videos per se, but someday and your someday. I mean, you put out the behind the scenes video with it, which I thought was super clever and very very funny. One of the last we talked to a band called Slender Dan. They're from Seattle, and they were always talking about like behind the scenes stuff and showing the process and that video really definitely explained the kind of the agony and the ecstasy of making a video. So what kind of motivated you to keep filming and who was helping you with that one as well?
So that one was with my friend Carson, and he actually has like film equipment, and he's like a really good like cinematographer and everything. So I had like asked him, I was like, hey, like, do you want to make a music video with me? I was like alone in Boulder for the summer because of Corona. So he like came over to my house, and then for like 3 days straight, we were just like filming it pretty much, and like we kind of came up with the concept like as we were filming. Before it was just I had this vague idea of mirrors, and then like he
Yeah.
actually like executed it, and it was cool because like I learned a lot of like editing techniques from him, like the whole layering and stuff. I didn't really know about that before, so I learned a lot in that process.
Yeah, I never know. Go ahead, Tash.
Oh, well, I was just going to kind of piggyback off that. I was going through your Instagram and noticed on the you and me that you did the like, here's how I created the whole song. What gave you the motivation to like say, I'm just going to start from the beginning, going through getting these little hi hat samples and showing everyone how I made the song from start to beginning.
For that video, that was just like I think it was a paid thing. Like I had applied to like there's like this program I use called Splice where like I get all my samples from, and they had this like thing like oh like if you make a video of how you use us, we'll pay you. So I was like hell yeah, because I already use them. So that was what that video was for.
I just thought that was so cool because I mean I love seeing that kind of like behind the scenes of like how the music's made, and so you don't. It's rare that you get to see that unless you're making a documentary or something. So it was cool just to have a little like 8 minute video and you know seeing where all that came from.
And of course, I want to bring it up to Sweeter, and obviously, you've released Sweeter, and then Bitter was last week, correct? Um, you know, Talk to me about the that film process and your just inspiration for that video.
So for Sweeter, I was actually supposed to have like a like it was gonna be like a three-part music video thing for my EP, and like I was supposed to release the first part for Sweeter like then, but that fell through, and I'm actually going this week to Nashville to film it with a different team. So that's really exciting. But like pretty much I needed some sort of visual to release with Sweeter. So I just like the night before, I just set up like just a silk green sheet like on my bed frame, and then like put like an old camera in front of it and just like did a lyric video thing.
I mean, you're like DIY to the absolute max. I love it. And I think that it's going to be unreal when somebody you get some more resources as well. And you're going to start just crushing the idea. So I'm very excited to see, what you come up with when you go to Nashville. We're based in Atlanta, so if you head down this way, let me know. We'd love to take you out and hang out for a little bit. But Tash, I think want to get into the music and the inspiration behind all of that.
Yeah. I'll start with Bitter. I go through and I got my notes here. And the only notes I wrote for Bitter were just holy shit, that is a great song. Where did that come from?
Thank you. That song I actually wrote in high school, like my senior year. I had been asked to prom for the first time, and he gave me these like really nice flowers. But then I like hate, kind of hate getting flowers because then you have to watch them die slowly. So I always throw them away like right before they're gonna die. Um, and so I came up with the line, I know it hurts to say goodbye, so I threw it away before I let it die. And then I kind of built the whole song around that. And it was about the idea of like me self sabotaging relationships because I don't want to deal with the heartbreak.
Yeah, that seems like that's sort of a running theme through a lot of your music is sort of heartbreak. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's like kind of annoying because I've never actually been heartbroken. But it's like for some reason I just like tend to write about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and like I was listening to the I Love You album, and I just felt like that whole album was like I should have been like walking to some bar like underground in New York, and like you were just like sitting on a piano singing. And so how were you able to like pull that vibe off, but like still it wasn't like I felt sad, but it had a sadder vibe, but it still was upbeat. You had a very fine balance, and I thought that was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, my dad, like, I started kind of songwriting beginning of high school, like, where I would actually show it to people. And my parents were always like, why are you so depressed? Like, all of these are so depressing. You seem very happy, but what is with these? So I just, like, gravitated towards writing sadder songs. So I tried, like, with this album, because my previous one was a little bit more sad, less upbeat. So I tried at least making it upbeat, sad songs. So.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. Like the "Let You Go" was the first one I noticed where like it really had that like it seemed like it should be like from the 1930s and like someone's just singing on a piano. Um, what went into releasing "I Love You" and "Submerge" in the same year? Was that just COVID driven and boredom, or were you just like destined to release two albums basically?
So I was actually supposed to release Submerge in 2019, but I just like didn't finish it and like kept dragging it on for a while. So I ended up releasing that like February of 2020, and then I had already been planning on like releasing I Love You in September. So like nothing much changed. Like quarantine, if anything, gave me more time to like make I Love You better, but like that was always kind of the plan.
Yeah, did you have any, we this is a running theme because we just started this podcast, so it's, everyone talks about COVID now, but did you have any plans to tour last year that got thrown out the window?
Not really. Like I am still in school, so like if I do play shows, it's like only local, and I didn't really have many planned in 2020 because I was kind of burnt out. I did like 12 shows the semester before, like with school, so I was really tired. So I was like, we're doing less shows this semester, and I was right. We did do way less shows, but
That's a great prediction. um, and so I saw you're playing the Boulder Theater on May 22nd. Is that correct?
yes.
That's your first show back since COVID struck?
Actually, I technically had like a very small 25-person show at Lost Lake Lounge in Denver on
Mhm.
February of this year. But yeah, this will be my first one of like a larger venue, I guess.
That's awesome. And so I listen. I've got a buddy who works for Colorado Public Radio, and so I listen to a lot of Indie 102.3, and they're always talking about the Lost Lake Lounge and stuff. And so it's cool to hear someone that's played there. But yeah, so you're still in school and you're electrical engineering student.
Yeah.
How does that tie into you playing music? Does that help at all?
Not really. It's more of like, oh, like if a music career doesn't work out, I want to still be able to make money. So it's like a backup type thing, but it's interesting.
It's not a bad fallback. Does it help you, with your rigging when when you're playing live shows, getting everything rigged up?
I mean, like, I guess I understand how electricity and cables work, so that definitely helps. But I don't know how much it's been applicable. I guess it's just like using the same part of the brain as for like the more technical side of music. So
So you can explain to us what AC and DC actually means.
alternating and direct current.
There you go. Boom. Yeah. So I love your sound, and so it's it's different from a lot of music I've listened to, but it's a fresh sound. How would you describe your music?
I don't know. I guess just like I would just say indie because that's like just a very general, generic, encapsulating like thing. But I think for each of my songs, it depends on like what genre it's leaning towards. Just because I like making a song, I don't like making a song fit as. Wait, I don't know what I'm gonna say. Just like I don't write songs with a genre in mind. I only like figure it out after.
You just you don't come in and say, all right, I need to make like a sad poppy song. It's just you start making it, and whatever it turns into, it turns into.
Yeah, pretty much.
So how do you go about, like, do you sit down to write a song, or is it just come about from messing around on the piano or getting a melody?
Yeah, it's definitely like different for everything, but I think usually like my process is I have like a certain like theme or like lyric idea that I want to like go into, and then I like flesh it out on the piano and like sit down and do it. But sometimes like I actually write really well on like planes. Like I've traveled a good amount, um not really this year, but I guess like before COVID, and like I would always write songs on the plane. And like that, I think just like being able to sit down and quiet and like have one thing to focus on helps a lot.
That's all. That's because I've heard a lot of people say, it's way harder to start with the lyric idea and try to put it onto a melody or onto some kind of musical thing. But do you think with you're classically trained in piano, correct?
Yeah.
And so does that, I mean, obviously it helps you write a song. That was about to be a dumb question, but does that kind of help you? The way I look at it is you're almost like reverse engineering the song. Does that kind of help you reverse engineer that you're so well versed in music theory and knowledge that you can start with a lyric and be able to place it somewhere?
Yeah, I think it always just kind of happens at the same time where like as I'm creating the lyrics, like the chord progression is just like naturally with it, and it's like what makes sense with the structure. So like I don't know, I've never found too much difficulty with like combining it. I mean, sometimes if I want the melody not to sound super basic, I have to like think about it a little bit more. But
Hmm.
yeah.
When did you start playing piano?
When I was 4.
4 years old. Wow.
In some time. I should be better than I am though, so it's like a little bit embarrassing that I say that, but it works out.
I'm sure most people would not be able to tell that you should be better than you just think you should be. Um, did you just were your parents putting you into it, or were you drawn to it immediately?
Yeah, so they put all of us into piano, and mostly me and my older brother were the only people that stuck. Like I have 3 other siblings, or 4 other siblings, including my brother. And yeah, only 2 of us really like continued it.
And so, were you just playing classical music growing up?
Yeah, pretty much.
Your Mozarts, your Beethovens?
Yeah, Tchaikovsky, Chopin. Like I think I tried getting into jazz piano too because I really like it, but I'm really bad at jazz because I've just been doing classical for so long.
So obviously those, the classical artists influenced you with your sound moving forward, but who else has influenced your sound moving forward?
Um, I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of Fleetwood Mac recently, and I just really like just everything about them. Um, Also Wolfpack, that I really like their like funkier, jazzy, like
Mm.
upbeatness. And I don't know, I like how they're more like I feel like melody focused than lyrics really. So it's like I try to go a little bit out of my comfort zone with that because I'm more of a lyrics person. So
Yeah, is singing something you're comfortable with, or is that something you've kind of grown into?
um yeah, I guess grown into. Like I didn't really start singing until high school and like I don't know. I don't think it's my strongest thing. Like I think I'm fine with it, but I definitely don't have like a powerful voice or anything like that.
I don't know. A lot of your life, it's pretty powerful.
Um, yeah, and speaking of classical piano, this was on the backside, that's why I didn't see it. But Oblivion, the piano at the beginning, that's all you at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then how did you come up with that? That's so cool how you like faded it into the rest of the song, because it's such a different sounding song, after the intro. But I just thought that was so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, so that one, I think I had been listening to Gummy by Brockhampton, and I liked how they started it with like a classical, like kind of like Disney intro sort of, and then like faded into a completely different song. So I wanted to have that sort of like, I don't know, transition.
Was that an easy transition for you to come up with?
I mean, I think so. I think I was just like messing around on piano, and like originally I was like, every time I play this live, this intro is gonna be different. Like I'm gonna improvise, but I've been playing the same thing like every time. So,
Was it something like that you'd had for a while and you just had always kind of like played it, or did it just come to you?
um, no, I think I was just trying to do something in the same chord progression of the song because I had written Oblivion before I had that intro. So I think I just like was like, okay, how do I do this? And it just, yeah.
That's awesome. It reminded me. I saw some video the other day, like this guy playing in his high school, and he's like playing some like classical part, and he turns it into this Dr. Dre song, and I'm like, that is awesome. It reminded me of that. Um, so who's some other bands that have influenced your sound over the years? Whether it was somebody you listened to growing up or that your parents listened to and you just overheard in the car.
Um, I don't know. My parents would play a lot of Radiohead or um, Katy Perry, or just like Israeli music. So it was like definitely an interesting combination of like sounds and stuff. I think also Pink Floyd and I can't remember the band name, but I remember like the song "Where Is My Mind." That like I love
Dixie.
that.
Pixies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I like yeah, just like that type of stuff. And I think we were just always playing different kinds of music and everything in our house. So just a lot of combinations of everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. And when did you really start trying to create your own songs and start recording? When did that start?
My
Even
first,
whether it was you were sharing them or you just had them secretly in your bedroom and didn't show anybody.
yeah, I wrote my like first song ever, I think when I was 11. And it was like, honestly, melody wise, it wasn't that bad, but like the lyrics made zero sense. But I think I had been seeing my older brother and sister, they like were songwriting and stuff. So I wanted to try it out for myself. But then it wasn't until like, yeah, freshman year of high school when I like actually started like sharing my songs with other people. And
Mhm.
then after I graduated high school, I figured out how to produce. So then I started releasing it.
Where did you learn how to produce?
Just like at home, like my brother had shown me he had got Logic Pro, like the software, and I had no idea that that was even like something that existed. I thought I needed some big shot LA producer if I wanted my music to go anywhere. So he like just like gave me the software and then I just figured it out like by just recording stuff and yeah.
That's awesome. You record your own drums? I see that. I just noticed that behind you.
I don't really have great mics for drum recording, so I usually just do like MIDI. But sometimes I do, or if I need like just like ideas. But it's more for live shows.
But you can play the drums.
Yeah, but it's definitely not my best instrument.
All right, let's rank the instruments, 1 through however many we got. Worst to first.
Piano's number one because I've been playing it forever. Second, probably bass because it's just pretty simple.
See, I'm gonna call you out there because on the you and me Instagram video, you're like, I'm really not that good at bass. I have my buddy record it, so
Yeah, that's
you
true.
are good at bass. You lied on the video.
I go piano, and then everything else is like way down here where it's like not recordable. I just play it enough so I know what it's gonna sound like. Like I half play guitar, but I'm still garbage at bar chords. And like drums, like I know basic beats, and I've like played live drums like a few times for like other people's acts, but I would not at all call myself a drummer. So.
Right.
What does a live show look like for you? Do you have full band with you?
Yeah, so I have a guitarist, a bassist, a drummer, and then two of my friends that sing with me. And my brother sometimes flies into town. He lives in LA, but he plays trumpet and like guitar and piano too. So if I need him on like other instruments, he joins us.
And so are you sitting down at the piano the whole time, or some songs you're up?
Yeah, I'm mostly at the piano. Some songs don't have piano, so I like walk around a little bit, but mostly just me and the keys.
I can just imagine your shows just being electric.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited for this one in May because I got a string quartet to like come play with me. It's just like people I knew in high school. So I haven't rehearsed with them yet, so I'm a little bit unsure of what it's gonna sound like, but I'm excited.
And playing like full set list. It's like I saw it's like an evening with Daphne. So is it just a full like 2 hour set list, or what do you have planned?
Um, it's gonna be probably an hour of playing, and hopefully the music video will be ready by then. But like, the plan is to like show like the 3-part music video for Sour right before, and then like go into the set.
Oh hell yeah, that'll be awesome. And what do you have planned for the rest of the year? Do you have more music? You have planned to release an album, anything?
Yeah, so I have an album release planned for next year. But I'll probably start releasing singles off of that like sometime during the summer or like after the summer. So we'll see. Haven't actually recorded any of those yet. They're all written, but none of them are recorded. So we'll see what happens.
We'll have to get them to my buddy Corey Jones so that he can get them on to the local. What's y'all's area code out in Denver? Like 505 or something? 303?
Something like that.
I think it's 303. It's like the local 303. So we'll have to get you on Indie 1023 with DJ Alicia. She's my favorite DJ in the world. But yeah, we're super stoked. We love your music, and the whole point of this podcast for us is to help you, help artists that we talk to get more exposure any way they can. I don't know how many people are going to listen to this, but you've got 2 more fans here in Atlanta. And what's something that Grant and I or anybody that's listening to this can do to support artists such as yourself?
Um, yeah, I guess really just like listen, like stream our songs, like especially in like the first weeks when they're like just being released. And yeah, if you like it, share it, show it to your friends. Like, yeah.
Without a doubt, because the when you release the songs, I guess the algorithm, that's kind of when you get decided if you're going to be put on like Spotify curated playlists. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much, which I still haven't had any luck with, but hopefully eventually.
Well, we'll do everything we can to make that change. I'll put it on play while I sleep, and then just on repeat over and over and over again. So you'll end up on my like Spotify Wraps 2021 for sure with Bitter. I love that song. Oh, but might be time for a little transition into something a little goofier, and I'll let Grant take over from here.
Before I get into Pete Peterson's party pack questions, I got to ask about "Light of My Life." That's a song that we featured on our page and kind of how we got in touch. But tell me about lighting. Who is the light of your life, and what's it all about? I mean, as cheesy as it sounds. Who is it?
Well, I actually wrote that song. It was like my freshman year of college, and I had gone to Steamboat with my friends, and there was like this little boutique, and in there I found the cutest pair of sunglasses, and like they looked super good on me. I've like just honestly best pair I've ever had. I took such good care of them, didn't lose them, and I lose like every pair of sunglasses. But like 6 months later, I went to take them off, and like one of the side pieces just like stayed behind my ear, and it was like one of the most depressing things that's ever happened to me. So that's what the song is about. Um,
Oh my gosh. I love that because you know what? People don't find tragedy in like stuff that is so, there's little things like that that really are like very impactful. And like the fact that your sunglasses are broken now, I mean, that burns. That burns a little bit. Oh man. Well, from tragedy to triumph, we're gonna go to Pete Peterson's party pack of questions.
Woo!
And 20 questions, rapid fire. So answer them as quick as you can. And we're going to start right now with cookies or ice cream,
Cookies.
Uber or Lyft,
Lift.
spoons or forks,
Spoons.
cash or credit,
Credit.
cake or pie.
Cake.
Are aliens real?
Yes.
Is Bigfoot real?
No.
Is the Denver airport secretly a military base?
100%. Yes.
Chips or pretzels? This is a controversial one.
I hate pretzels.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what it is about the indie music community. Lowen came out at like so anti pretzels. You and her should have a chips party when you go out to Nashville.
I'm down.
It's incredible. Anyway, a night in or a night out?
In.
Is love at first sight real?
I don't know yet. Um,
All right. Well,
With those
let's go.
sunglasses.
I don't know. You love those sunglasses.
love at first sight.
Pop Tarts or toaster strudels?
Pop tarts.
Would you rather be able to fly or turn back time?
Turn back time.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
T Rex or a velociraptor?
Velociraptor.
Green apples or red apples?
Green apples.
Would you rather do the robot or the worm?
The robot. I don't know how to do the one.
I've seen you do the robot. You're pretty good. Ninja or a pirate? Which would you rather be? A ninja. Tendies or wings?
Wings.
And in record time, she's at the final question, ladies and gentlemen. Bands we might not know that we ought to know or we ought to check out. Some of your friends, some people you know, some people you've toured with, anything that goes there. And more than likely, we will reach out to them and chat with them. So just like Kai Kron paid it forward to you. So
My brother Guy Marguerite or Ella Jane.
Ella Jane. Awesome. And what kind of music does your brother make?
He makes like a kind of alternative. I don't know. It's really good.
Awesome. Does he have like an outfit that he has? Like is he in a 4-piece band or is it just Guy Marguerite all the way through?
Yes, Guy Marguerite.
Guy Marguerite. And then Ella Jane, tell me about her or him or whoever it is.
Her. She I met through TikTok. But she's super cool. She's like I think based in New York, and she also just like writes all of her own songs and like produces some of them. Yeah, she's super cool.
Wow. TikTok. We're a
Yeah.
couple of old timers here. Tell me about TikTok and how your music, how you're influenced by that.
It's been super helpful for like promoting my music just because the algorithm's like really great and it's very like focused on the creators. So I don't know. It's also just connected with me like with a lot of other musicians and stuff, and like it's cool to see all of that community.
Awesome. Yeah, I just you do know the girl Natalie Burdick?
No.
Oh my gosh, check her out. Do yourself a favor. She might be the funniest person. I think she's TikTok and Instagram Reels, but she writes these crazy songs about just like she wrote one about celery on the sidewalk the other day, and it was maybe the most off the wall bizarre thing I've seen. But she is so funny. But all right, well, we'll have to check out your bro and Miss Ella Jane here. Is Jane spelled Jaine? Because that is an awful way to spell Jane Grant. It's Jnene.
Or Jane.
Jane Grant. Come on, what are we talking about here?
I didn't know there was more than one way to spell it, but you know.
I was thinking like Jane, like that religion, Jainism, where they can't even swallow flies. That was I don't know why that was my thought there, but hey, my brain is everywhere. Well, Daphna, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on this podcast here. We are Indiebnb, and we thank you so much for stopping by.
Yes, thank you.
We're gonna go see her at Boulder Theater, May 22nd.
May 22nd, Boulder Theater. Pack it out safely.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.